Wọ́n bá àwọn èèyàn ń wò pé ìgbà tó kù sí sọ́yìn.
Can I just use yours for a start? Yeah. It's working now. Oh, okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Temikayo, and I would like to welcome all of us to the Meet Your Retailer webinar organized by GS1. So it's the first of its kind, and we will be waiting for extra 10 minutes to allow other participants to join in, then we'll begin. Thank you very much, and thanks for joining in early. Thank you. Hello? You can hear me clearly now. Okay. Hello, good morning once again, everyone. Thanks for joining in to our Meet Your Retailers webinar. My name is Temitayo, and displayed on the screen to the right-hand side is the agenda of our meeting for today. All right, so without wasting much of our time, the purpose of this forum is to just create an opportunities for some of our GS1 members to be able to engage directly with some retailers out there. All right, so this is the first of its kind, like I've said earlier, and after this, we can expect many more. So today we have two retailers amidst us in the person of Mr. John Ennison from Primark Stores and Mr. Obina from
black and
Stores.
white one.
And also on this call, we have a very important personnel. That's Grace Amuro, that's our retail engagement officer. All right, so can you just say hi to everyone, Grace?
Good morning, everybody.
I couldn't hear you. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So thank you very much. All right. So without wasting much of our time, I'll be handing over to Grace while she introduces the retailers to us and hand over to Mr. John from GS1 for a start.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Grace Ifeoluwa. I work with the retail department in GS1 Nigeria. So, Mr. Obina, Hello. So Mr. Obina will be going first. Mr. Obina works with Jara Store. He's the category manager first. So he's going to introduce us to the onboarding process where you want to take your products to them, on their shelves. So he's going to take us through that process. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Yeah, and still this stuff has I've unmuted it. Yes, you guys can see me. You can hear me. I can't even hear what others are saying. All right. Let me see.
Sorry, Mr. Obina is trying to sort out his mic, but Mr. Obina, we can hear you. And everyone was muted the other time. That's why I didn't hear anything.
Incoming call from Grace GS1.
Hello, Bruce. That's what I'm saying now. I can't even hear you guys. Nice. Sorry, I can't even hear what anyone is saying, but I just have to go ahead. My name is Obina Ahamifule, category manager for Jara Supermarket. Currently, Jara Supermarket has 3 stores, one located at Ikeja, similar to Abiola Way. Then the second one is in Benin, and the third one, which is our newest baby, few months back, opened in Ibadan. So so glad to have you guys around. This is actually the first of its kind, and I'm glad to be one of the participants. So straight to the point, barcode system is very, very vital for supermarkets. It's not just because we want to sell a particular product, but because we feel that barcode gives us the exact description of an item. Giving an exact description, it also gives us the sales. You can easily attract and track the sales record of a particular product. We can easily use it for inventory purposes and all of that. So, but I'm going to take you through the process of getting your products listed in a supermarket with the aid of a barcode system. So first and foremost, the suppliers will eventually come visiting, booking an appointment or thereabout to have their products listed in the supermarket. And the first, we tell them, okay, get samples of these items. I believe that me seeing a sample of a particular product, the beauty of the product also gives me an idea of if I need such product, irrespective of the demand from customers coming to request for such items. So when the sample is, submitted, I take a good look at it using a barcode scanner, which I connect to my laptop, and then it also synchronizes well with Excel. So the moment I scan the barcode, it gives me the number in Excel. And then that alone tells me, okay, it's actually scannable, it's actually sellable. But the moment I scan such product and the digits did not appear, so it tells me that that is not the correct barcode to be used, or it's not an authentic barcode for us to use to sell in the store. So such items are actually discarded. And then the other option is to tell the supplier, go get a barcode, and if you get the barcode, and then you can come back for us to see how this product can be enlisted in the system, bearing in mind that such products have already gone through rigorous processes of NAFDAC registrations or SON registration and all whatnot. So all those processes gone through successfully, and then getting the right barcode for those items to be sold. That is a key point for your products to get listed in a supermarket. So that's after that is done, the barcode is if the barcode is now fixed, all we need to do is get the product listed, and a PO is sent for you to supply. And once you get that PO,
Jara Mall is here.
you go straight down to the back end, the receiving guys, to supply. So at point of receiving, you present your PO and also present your waybill if you have, and then also present your invoice. So these are the documents required for the guys at the back end to receive your goods. So at point of receiving, it is mandated that they scan the barcodes of those items. So they pick up one product on the PO, they scan, and upon scanning, if a number appears and correlates with what's in the system, then the product will received. But if it doesn't, the barcode has to be re-entered again. That probably at point of presenting of samples, you brought a product with a different barcode. So definitely we'll have to get the new barcode added to the list or added to the system so we can sell such product. But if the barcode does not appear at all, if no digits appears at all, then it simply means the product will be rejected. And at that particular point, it says that such products without a well-defined barcode cannot be sold in a supermarket. That's one key thing to note. A product that does not have a defined barcode cannot be sold in a supermarket because the supermarket system entails it to be scanned at cash points. And the only way they scan at cash points is scanning the barcodes. Scanning the barcode also ensures that at the cash points, you have the smooth operations. If an item scans, it simply means the cashiers will hastily attend to you and then you leave. But if they scan and there are issues, certainly they would not sell, and it's going to cause a lot of traffic in the store, and there are lots of, and customers are never patient. Most customers are not patient, so definitely it seems like the system is bad, but at the same time, one error or the other happened at point of accepting such product. So it's very, very important that the barcode of a particular item is well presented, and I feel that you as well will be happy to see that your product is being sold in a supermarket without you having issues, without you getting your products returned because the barcodes are not scanning rightly. So at this point, I feel it's whatever questions you can ask me, I'm open to hear you out and all of that. Thank you so much.
All right, so Mr. Obina, the questions are going to come in later. After everybody has presented. So anyone that has a question, maybe you need clarity about anything Mr. Obina said concerning the onboarding process, you can just drop it in the chat box.
Hello, can you hear me? All right, so thank you very much, Mr. Obina from Jara Stores. We are really happy to have you, and thank you for walking us through the onboarding process of Jara Stores. All right, so I know some of our manufacturers here might have at one point or the other tried to sell to Jara Stores or something like that, and their product was rejected. So if you have any question for Mr. Obina, which happens to be the category manager at Jara Stores, we'll appreciate you type your questions in the chat box, and it will be attended to after all presenters have presented, like our retail engagement officer just said. So thank you very much once again, Mr. Obina. Thank you for the call. All right, so we'll be moving on to the next presenter, which is from GS1 Nigeria. That's our retail engagement officer, as he walks us through some important allocation rules as how to properly utilize your barcodes and what GS1 has to offer in terms of barcode services and others. Thank you very much. So up to you, man.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Yes, so I'm not going to assume that everybody here is a GS1 Nigeria member already. I'm going to assume that some of us just got the link online or something and just registered. Somebody shared it. So I'm just going to introduce GS1 Nigeria to us briefly. So GS1 is a not-for-profit organization. So we create standard that enables business efficiency, and we are global. We are in over 115 countries. So and over 2 million companies, they are using GS1 Nigeria standard already. Next slide, please. So I'm going to brief us about GTIN. I'm going to tell us about the structure and how you get a GS1 barcode. During the onboarding process, Mr. Obina explained, he mentioned that one key thing you have to get your product into this retail outlet, like different retail outlets, is a barcode, because it is very important for their work to be, better and easier. Tell him to mute. Yes. Julius, please, can you mute? So I'm just going to continue. So what is a GTIN? A GTIN is a global trade item number. It is all these numbers that you see. When we see barcode most of the time. So the numbers beneath it, like under it, they are called the GTIN. So it is this number that then encoded. Can you go to the next slide? It is this number that then encoded in the what's it called? In the black and white bars that we see most of the time. So this barcode provides consumers and organization. It provides seamless business process for them. So why do you need to use a GTIN? Why is it important for you to use a GTIN? Please, I can see some people are dropping some questions. It's okay for you to drop your question in the chat box. At the end of everything, your questions will be answered. So you can just drop it there. So a GTIN is very important. Like I said earlier on, the GTIN is the one that is being encoded in the black and white bars that the retail stores get to, scan. So this GTIN, the Global Trade Item Number, it is very important. And most of the products you see in supermarkets, even our roadside supermarkets, most of they have the barcode, because it helps them make their work better. It's not just about you, like, okay, GS1 is saying get a barcode, get a barcode. It's not just about that. You make their work easier by getting a barcode on your products. So how is a GTIN used? You might often wonder, like, how is it used? How do they go about it? Mr. Obina mentioned that it's used for their business efficiency. So at the point of sale, like a checkout process, the barcode is being scanned. So when you let me just cite an example now. When you as a manufacturer take your product to this retail outlet, you guys come to an agreement that, okay, this is the price you are going to sell the products. So that one is being done at the back end. So the price of the product is being imputed. So when it's being scanned, the cashier, sees the price of the item. Then the number of items that you buy reduce as the initial quantity is filled in the inventory system. What am I trying to say by this? The barcode numbers, Mr. Obina spoke about an Excel sheet that the barcode number is being scanned. Then the Excel sheet brings in the number. So on their inventory system, the way they sell, like you see them with a computer that they, check when you want to buy things. So let's say you have already given them 10 bottles of milk. So as a customer comes and pick one, automatically it reduces to 19. And this is only made possible because of the barcode numbers that they've already put into their system for all this to be, easier. And this also make them, when they want to, ask for additional products, maybe the product has finished, it makes it easier for all these things to happen. So where is a GTIN used? That's a global trade item number. Where is it used? It's used in supermarkets, like the retail industry. Not only that, it's used in healthcare system, it's used for logistics and the like. So it's used for a whole lot of things, fresh food, merchandising. So it is not just our day-to-day biscuit and milk. Even drugs comes with barcode. This is just by the way. So let's continue. So who assigns a GTIN? I know most times our manufacturers get to ask us that, okay, I'm only doing import. Why should I have to get a GTIN? I don't really have a business with it. But you actually, because anyone that makes the product available to the market, you have to, whether you are the one in your factory somewhere or you are importing them from, overseas, then you are maybe repackaging them and making it yours. The fact that you are, bringing this product out to the public, you are the one that is making it available to Jara stores, to Primark and different outlets out there. Then you are the one who should be responsible for assigning a GTIN on the products. So how is a GTIN structured? Let me refresh our memory. The GTIN are the numbers that are encrypted in the black and white bars. So how is it structured? So we have different GTIN. We have a GTIN 14. This one is mostly used on our cartons. When you have maybe a carton of biscuits or something, it is mostly used on carton. But the GTIN 13 is the one that is mostly used by the retail stores. If you notice, if you are a GS1 Nigeria, you notice that most of the GTINs that you've gotten from us so far, they are 13 digits number. So these ones are used on, items that for retail point of sale. We also have the GTIN 12 and 8, but they are not, really used like that. So I know there are some of us here that are not a GS1 Nigeria member, and I need to tell some of us that maybe we probably don't have a GS1 barcode. That GS1 is the only authorized company to actually, give a barcode. So if you have somebody, maybe a friend that is into production, and the person is still, unsure of where to get a barcode, GS1 is, best bet for it. So all you have to do when you want to get a GS1 barcode is, go to our website at gs1ng.org. You're going to click on get a barcode, then you see the price list, which will help you figure out, the number of products that you have depends on the number of barcodes you pick. What am I trying to say? Let's say, for example, I sell soap, and this soap has different fragrance. Even though they are of the same price, I have to use a unique identifier that is different GTIN for different products. I cannot use the same for them just because they probably come in the same size, or they have, the same name, and it's just the flavor that is different. So all you need to do is you complete your registration form, upload a signed document of your terms and condition form, which you'll see on our website. Then you have to provide an utility bill. This comes like maybe Loma bill or your what's it called, NEPA bill of the registered address of your factory. Then you need a CSC certificate, then your proof of payment. So you're going to get a prompt from then on. We have a membership support that is always ready to put you through the whole process. So here I'm going to, enlighten us more about the right, colors to use, because I understand that different products has different design. And in as much as we are used to the fact that barcode comes in black and white most of the time, there are some people that their products have, different colors. So we cannot enforce you to use black and white every now and then. So these are some of the acceptable colors that you have to have. One thing we have to, keep at the back of our mind is that barcodes must always be printed in a way that the darker bars appears over a pale background. The dark bars, like the dark colors, appear over a pale background, that is a lighter background. Do you understand? Not the other way around. Because the scanners that they use in these retail stores, when it goes over it so that to be able to read it. So this is not like maybe a universal standard. These are just some of the, colors, the acceptable ones, the black on white, purple on yellow, green on yellow. Then the unacceptable colors, red on white, green on blue. When your product's package, let's say because your product's package is like blue, so you're now looking for something to, you want to try to improvise. You don't want to use the normal one. We get it. But when you have this type and you take it to retail outlets, your product is not going to scan, and we don't want that kind of situation. So these are just some of the acceptable barcode colors. So let's always keep it in mind. Darker bars should appear on pale background. So as a GS1 Nigeria, we also offer something that we feel like our customers is just an add-on service. So we have a barcode verification service. Let's say you already came to GS1 Nigeria, you already got your, barcode numbers and your barcode images. So in order to avoid situation whereby, for example, you take your product to Mr. Obina and Mr. Obina tells you that your barcode isn't scanning, and God forbid you had already done, mass production and you produce a lot, then there's problem because you can't start changing and starting from the scratch. So we always advise that you just, print the barcode image on like a sticker or one of your products and bring it down to GS1 Nigeria office at Manhouse in Ikeja. So we have like a scanner to help you check if you've inputted the right number in the right bar, so that you don't scan product A for product B. They scan A and they are saying B. They are scanning milk and they are saying, biscuits. So we all offer these products for free to, our members. So you can always bring your products to, verify this, to verify that the barcode is going to scan when you take it to retail outlets and you make their work easier for them. So I'm going to talk about some allocation rules. What is the right way to assign a GTIN, the global trade item number? Because some of us don't actually, we get confused with this. So I'm just going to, tell us about some of them. So this is one of the, allocation rule. If you look at this can of soup, you can see that the same product package, but it has different text. Like this one has soup and the other one has ofe. I believe I got that. That's in Igbo. So it has to have a new GTIN entirely. You cannot use the same GTIN, GTIN for the same for different different new language on the products also come with a new GTIN. That's what I'm trying to say. While if you look at the other one, ham, then the other product has an added language to him, like Proquito. I think that's Italian. Forgive my pronunciation. So in this kind of situation, you can use the same GTIN. That is, you can use the same identifier for it. You don't have to, come up with a different GTIN for it. I'm sure we've seen some products like that maybe they came from maybe let's say China, that they wrote it in China, then they still have like the English what's it called? Please can you go to the previous slide? I'm still talking about the previous slide. And they have like English, so we can as well read in English and read in the other language, so they can come with the same GTIN. But if you are making it with a different language entirely, so that means they have to come with a new GTIN entirely. So I also have a situation whereby some people get confused in whereby the product weight. I'm sure if you're GS1 Nigeria, you have noticed that during our registration process, we ask for the weight of the product, the gross weight and the net weight. So if, let's say, you decide to, change your package, and the package is like 20% more. Let's say it was 50 cl before, then it's going to be maybe 100 cl. That's more than 20% of the initial package that you had already put out to the market, and that already had a different barcode number. So you have to get a new GSIM for that one. But let's say it's just a minor material change. If you look at the spaghetti can, you'll see that it's just slight difference that it's in the design. So in that kind of situation, you use the same, GTIN. So I already also have an illustration whereby a bonus pack with increased quantity is sold at the same price as the regular item. In this kind of situation, you are going to require a new GTIN. Then the other one said a free item packed inside the primary retail consumer item with no change in quantity, sold at the same price. Okay, let me try to cite an illustration. There was one time whereby a lot of canned drinks in Nigeria, they were adding 10% more, 10% more. I think they were not doing the regular 50 cl again, they were doing 60 cl. So in that kind of situation, you have to, because this 50 cl might still be in market, so you cannot use the same, what's it called, the same identifier. You can't use the same barcode number for them. It has to have a different barcode number. Well, the second one, you said a free item. Let's say maybe you are doing promo. Let me cite an example. Let's say we are having Children's Day and I sell carton of noodles, and I decide to add toothbrush or a notebook or something for kids in the carton of noodles. That's just, an additional item that is probably not going to, change the weight of the product. So in that kind of situation, and you know that after this Children's Day bonanza you're going to, discontinue the free item you're having inside. So in that kind of situation, it's the same GTIN you're going to use for it. So I have another illustration here. We are still talking about the right way to assign your GTIN, the allocation rules. So in this kind of system, we have identical items made by different manufacturers for a specific retailer. So let me cite an example, because you can see that the dress, there's no difference. There's literally no difference. It's the same thing. But let's say, for example, you have, I don't want to mention names now, but we have some kind of deodorants that are being, produced in different countries. They are producing it in Germany, or they are also producing it in the UK, but it's still the same, it's still the same company, but it's like different manufacturers. The companies are getting from different manufacturers entirely. So they have to use a new GTIN, because God forbid there's a problem with the one that is being manufactured in Germany and the one from UK too is coming into the same retailer. How do they differentiate it if they are having the same GTIN? So they have to have, different identifier for this to, for you to track it back to wherever it has come from, that, okay, this particular number, let's trace it back to who gave it to us. So these are some of the reasons why it has to have a new GTIN. But in situations whereby the trade items are produced in like different locations, you can use like the same GTIN. You can use the same GTIN. So still on the allocation rules, if there is a price reduction stated on the pack, there was one time product used to have is 35 naira, then changed to like 50 naira, all those kind of things, you have to have a different GTIN. It has to come with a new GTIN, because you don't even, inflation keeps, coming in and every time, and in that kind of situation, it has to have a new GTIN. You cannot use the same product when the price reduction is being specified rather on the pack. It requires a new GTIN, like a unique GTIN. So for the other one, if a price coupon is on or in the package for the same material, you can use the same GTIN. Let's say they're just doing bonanza like any. We can see your question, ma. Sir, Mr. Ekene, we are going to reply to all questions after this. Sorry about that. So let's say you have a price, the price coupon on material. You can use the same GT because after a while, let's say we don't know the reason why you are doing this bonanza. Maybe because your company is doing 5 years anniversary. That's why you're adding 50% more, 20% more. So in this kind of situation that you might still, discontinue it, you can use the same GT for that. So if you have any more question, that would be helpful from me, from Grace. So if you have any more question, you can always reach out to us as training@gs1.ng, or you can also chat us up on WhatsApp or follow us on different social media, network and our handles, because we always, provide information and also reply to members or anyone that needs our help on there. So thank you very much.
Can you hear me now? Okay, all right. So thank you very much, Madam Grace of the retail department. We really appreciate you. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. All right, so to some very large extent, I want to believe that presentation was quite clear, but we are going to leave rooms for question, and some questions are already coming in the chat box. So your questions will be answered, and if you want to proceed to the level of having a personal discussion with the GS1 team, we are readily available, and we'll be there to provide anything you need on your GS1 membership journey. All right, so we'll be moving on to the next presenter now. That's Mr. John Ennison from Primat. So Mr. John will be coming up to walk us through some onboarding process of Primat stores. Thank you very much.
Hello, Mr. John is with us. We are waiting for you. Can you hear us, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good morning. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, sir. You can go on, sir.
Good morning.
Oh, okay. Good morning, everyone. Yeah. Basically, my main job is to put us through Primat Superstore's onboarding process. Yeah. It's not quite an hectic one. As long as certain things are gotten correctly, it would be easy to come into Primat. Do you understand? Standards is very, very paramount. And as a manufacturer, we need to not rush things to get things right. That's why some things is coming up to enlighten us more on getting certain things right so that we would find it easy in access into modern stores to get. We're in a technological age where things are being computerized, and for data, for checking of stock levels and all that, for the progress of certain products, the owners of these stores would like to know how well your product is doing how fast it's moving, and if you're the kind of person that supplies maybe different kind of products you get, they would like to know, okay, which of these products are on the moving side you get. Now, if each of these your products have a standard barcode, these stores would have, as in, would find it easy to get all these things achieved. You get me? So the onboarding process in primary superstores is very simple. First and foremost is you'll be needing what we call a proposal, and then samples of your products. And when you bring in samples of these products, they should at least properly packaged, well packaged, presentable, catchy, with the good colors that are meant to be there. And then also you need a barcode. Without a barcode, it wouldn't be able to access the system. It wouldn't be able to access our system. So that's just it. Now the reason, let me come again, for the barcode is to ensure follow in terms of payments, in terms of stock level, and all that. Barcode is very, very important. Very, very, very important. If it's weak, like I heard Grace mentioning something about the dark lines being thicker, you get. If the black lines are not thicker, and when we scan them, they don't scan, you get. They create issues for us. So what we do then is just to, like, internally, we have a machine, we have an application that kind of generates a barcode. You understand? So and it's only if we feel that, okay, this product is quite okay, quite good. Nevertheless, we still encourage them to do the right thing. Should encourage them to do the right thing, to patronize companies like GS1 Nigeria to help them fix up a good and a standard barcode. So the more you make your product standard, the farther you go. That's one thing. The more we make our product standard as manufacturers, the farther we go. It will make things easy for stores to check on your products, monitor the progress, and all that. So, like I said, first and foremost, for you to, as a manufacturer, to come into primary superstores, you need a proposal, and then samples of the product you get, and some means of identification, like this, and then your CAC certificates and other certificates. And those are just major things. And then the evaluation team evaluates the products. The evaluation team evaluates the products and then gets back to you concerning it. Part of the evaluation process is also checking, having a taste of the products, and then checking how good, how strong the barcode is. How good, how strong the barcode is, without which it might not be given access into our system here, without which it might not be given access, depending on the demand at hand for such kind of products. If the demand is on the high side, we can come in and then decide to, like, okay, help create our own internally generated barcode, and then we find the manufacturer pays a token for that. We get our own internally generated barcode just to help our own system inside here. Nevertheless, we still encourage them to at least get a standard barcode to help them do things well. That's just a brief example. That's just a brief illustration of the onboarding process into primary superstores.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. John. Mr. John, thank you very much, Mr. John. So, like we've heard from Mr. John, when you want to, get your product into the stores, one thing you need to do is get a GS1 barcode, which is really important because the GS1 barcode enables you sell not just you're not restricted to one, store. You can sell in different stores in Nigeria, worldwide, and even when you're exporting, because the GTIN in which encode in your products is called the Global Trade Item Number. So it's not even limited to just Nigeria locally. You can use it to, sell your products out there. So now we are going to, take the questions. Thank you very much, Mr. John.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me now? Okay, all right, so thank you very much, Grace, and thank you very much also to Mr. John Enison of Primat. All right, so we have some questions in our chat box already. So I don't know if anybody wants to unmute and give a comment or ask their question directly, but okay, all right. So while I go through the chat box to read out what we have. All right, so good morning, sorry, I could not get that. Okay, so this is from Fausat to Sunny Yusuf. So I think this question is directed to Mr. Obina of Jara Stores. So this person is saying, sorry, I joined it. Apart from barcodes, can I be a supplier to Jara Store? So I think that question is to you, Mr. Obina. Okay, so Mr. Obina, hello. Hello? Okay, Mr. Obina, can you please unmute? Can you kindly unmute yourself?
Okay. So I heard someone say something about apart from barcode, if you can be a supplier, of Jara. Obviously, apart from barcode, we just need to get the necessary documents like John mentioned, NAFDAC certificate, CAC certificate, and also I think your tax clearance certificate is part of it. These are the first steps you actually need to bring in along with the
application.
Not possible for us to have you enlisted as a supplier, and then also listing your product as part of our assortments. Thank you.
I'm trying to. Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Obina, for providing answer to that question. Okay, so actually, this is another question that I think is also for you, Mr. Obina. So this is from Odufison Kofuruwola. So it says, thanks, Mr. Obina, for your presentation. Could you please give some more details about the following? Are any documents needed for the listing process? Then how is an appointment booked for visiting the office for drop-off of sample products? Are there any available arrangements for Jara Store to move products to other locations?
Sorry, I didn't get the first part.
Oh, okay, let me just take that again. So are there any documents needed for the listing process? That's the first question.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So the second question is how do we book an appointment to drop off the sample of our products to Jara stores? Then the third question is will Jara be responsible for moving our products to other locations, or it is the duty of the suppliers to move our products to all Jara locations? I think that was the third question. So do you get that, Mr. Obina?
Yeah, it's a dicey one. The distributor or the manufacturer is liable to it ensures that his product gets to these locations as orders are sent. We are not liable to send send your product outside Lagos. We believe that for you to start up a business, you foresee that your product will grow beyond a particular location. Your product should go outside Lagos or as the case may be. So you should have plans of moving your goods or your supplies outside Lagos. You could use a private logistic firm or thereabout. And if there's a popular one called Zippy, which most distributors or manufacturers use, I think they could be of help to you because they outside Lagos. So all they do is they merge if you get in contact with them, you get your orders to supply maybe Benin, and they might have maybe 4 to 5 orders from a particular manufacturer. So all they need to do is to merge all orders together and then book for shipment. So I think you need to contact a logistics firm that does such services.
Calvin, I did not answer the question about the appointment. How is appointment booked for visiting the office?
But yeah, there should be an official mail. I actually prefer an official mail sent to me. Then I get back to you. Definitely, I need to check my schedules and know which day is convenient for us to have a meeting. To be honest, I really don't encourage people, coming to see me without booking an appointment. So you just send me an email and then tell me, give a brief description of your product, and then I also give me the reason or the importance of me having your product as part of my assortment. Because one thing manufacturers or distributors need to understand that every supermarket has a threshold of products to hold in their store. There is a limit to which you can accept products. So a product you have in stock, if it's selling rightly, the rule is you take it out, you discontinue such product, and then if someone is coming in, I need to take out certain SKUs that are not that are not doing well in the store. So me telling a supplier that, okay, I'm going to give you room for a particular time, you present your product, and then if it meets with the standard or the demands of my customers, because my customers are actually paramount to me. So if it meets the demands of my customers, then you have a shot of getting your product listed in Jara assortment. So just book an appointment via mail, and then I'll revert back.
So thank you very much, Mr. Obina.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering that question. All right. So there's another question here from Miss Simbo Adewale to everyone. So it says, can GS1 send a reminder email to its clients before our subscription expires? That won't be Okay, hello, Mrs. Simbo. I don't know if you can hear me. Hello, Mrs. Simbo. I don't know if she's still there. Hello, ma. Okay, so I don't know if Mrs. Simbo Adewale can hear me, but actually GS1 Nigeria sends a reminder email to our members. We refer to our members as members, not clients. So we send a reminder email to our members before their renewal is due. All right, so if you have not been getting our emails and you want us to update your email address for your company, so all you need to do is kindly send us a notification to enquiries@gs1.
Thank you. How is everything?
Hello, can we unmute our mic, please?
White one. That one is 100 ml. No, 220. 220. I'll be two. So they call it 250.
All right. So, sorry, as I was trying to explain, so if you have not been getting our reminder emails concerning any of our product and services, you can just send a notification to enquiries@gs1.ng.org to the correct email address you want us to update.
Okay, thank you very much. I heard you. I've been getting your emails. I just wanted to confirm, sometimes we forget that the expiry date is near. So definitely that means I'm going to get your email for renewal. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. All right, so I'm moving on to what's that, sorry?
Sorry, so before we go to the next question, so in order to just make everything go smoothly, so the questions that Mr. Obina answered, I would just like to, ask Mr. John the same question. So when I want to take my products to your store, when I want to sell in Primark, do I have to book an appointment, or do I just walk into your store with my samples and talk to somebody there? So please run us through that. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, you can book an appointment to come into Primark, and nevertheless, you can also walk in. You can walk into the head office. You can walk into the head office majorly, and then state your purpose. If you state your purpose, fine. As long as you are with the valid documents and then your proposal and then samples to be attended to. And then the manager in line to take over from there will take over. That's just it.
Sorry, one more question. I know Jara store, their head office is at Jara Shopping Mall, if I'm correct, Mr. Obina. So, but for Primark, I'm actually not sure which of the stores is your head office. Can you clarify?
Okay, the one in Ikola, that's where the head office is. Nevertheless, the one in cement, if you walk in that find you, not as we wouldn't collect, we would attend to you, and also carry the head office along those things.
All right. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for that response, Mr. John. All right. So there's another question here. It says, "Hello, I am a GS1 member. Mr. Obina, Jara Mall, can two products have one barcode?" Okay. Sorry, I think that question should be directed to GS1 Nigeria. So to Mr. Ekene Chukwemeka, a product cannot have two barcodes. So like our retail engagement officer explained when she was presenting, so it is actually referred to as a GTIN, which means Global Trade Unique Identification Number, and one GTIN goes to a product. So then, okay, it says, can two products have one barcode? No, two different products cannot have one barcode, and the products cannot have two barcodes. All right, so thank you very much. I don't know, maybe you still have further questions, Mr. Chukwemeka, but you can just type that in the chat box. So, okay, I think the next question. Okay, so there's another question here from Itomilayo, directed to Mr. Obina of Jaramo, but we actually like to direct the same question to Mr. John too. So the person is asking, please, does Jara store deal with wet products like fresh juice, salad, and cooked foods? So Mr. Obina, I don't know, can you just please unmute yourself to answer that question, please? Hello, Mr. Obina, are you there? Hello? Hello? Okay, so I think Mr. Obina is having issues with his network. So I'll proceed to the next question, but I'll make sure I ask the question again when he's back in the chain. All right, so there's a question here from Mrs. Simbo. So it is directly to Mr. John. So how do we get in touch with Mr. John Enison? So Mr. John, can you please unmute yourself and answer that question, please?
Okay, and for me, if you want to meet with me, I'm always at the cement branch before Doc Bemo, but I'm not always on seat, not always on seat. Nevertheless, if you would want to meet with me, you can just walk in and then drop the proposal, samples of your products, and then documents, some documents to back up your business registration and all that, NAFDAC and all that. So when
Okay, all right. So let me just reiterate what Mr. John said. So he said if you want to meet with him, he's always at the cement branch. That's before Dokwemu. All right. So yeah, okay. I think he's back. Hello, Mr. John. Can you speak louder, please?
yes, like I said, I'm always at the cement. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
I'm
now, sir.
always
We
at
can
the
hear you.
cement branch. Yes, you can always walk in at any time at the cement branch. If you don't meet me, I'm not always on seat. You can always ask to see the manager. If you are told the manager is not around, my supervisor will be around, or one of the managers will be around. Just state your intentions, present yourself, and explain yourself, defend your product, about your product, and then drop your documents, and then drop samples. Fine. When I resume, I would meet them on my table, and then I'll take it up from there. If it's something I know that, okay, this product is good for this environment, we need it in this environment, definitely I will get back to you. I will get in touch with you, definitely.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much, Mr. John. All right, so there's actually another question here that says, can we get the contact of the Jara store? All right, so to Mrs. Chinyere Chukwu calm. All right, so concerning this, all right, so to get the contact of the Jara store, kindly send your details to enquiries@gs1ng.org with the name of your company. Then we can reach out to Jara stores on your behalf, then get you his details. Thank you very much. Okay, all right, then how can we meet with Mr. John? Okay, so this person is also asking, how can we meet with Mr. John for a listing of new products? Or how can we meet with? So I think indirectly you already answered this question already. So okay, but there's another question here that says, where is Primark's head office located? I didn't hear clearly when you were saying this. Okay, so to Aminat Oladipo, I don't know, maybe you later got. So to Aminat, I don't know, maybe you later got the description when Mr. John Enison answered the question. But Mr. John, I would like you to kindly answer the question again for the sake of Aminat Oladipo.
Where is Primark located? Was that
the head office.
Let the question come again. The head office. Okay, it's located at Kola Road. Command. Before Command, Kola Road.
Oh, okay, all right. So thank you very much, Mr. John.
There's this road that links up. There's this road that links up Ota. It's called the Kola Road. It's a very popular road before Command.
Okay, thank you very much. No, it's not the one that's branching. All right, so thank you very much. Then there's a question from Ayo Olabode. Jesus. All right, so there's a question from Ayo Olabode to everyone that says, what are the role of service provide when GS1 is issuing GTINs to client directly? All right, so I'd like to direct this question to one of my colleagues in the office here, and I think the person that I'll direct this to be Ms. Grace of the retail department. So I don't know if you can please answer that question. Don't.
Okay, I think I would answer that. Good afternoon. My name is David from the IT department. Okay, so there are actually many things that a service provider can do, especially when it comes to, you can play both in the retail side or in the manufacturer side. I believe this question is coming from maybe a service provider that is currently on this call. But what the role of a service provider is basically is to either create solutions using GS1 standard. A very good example is maybe a manufacturer wants to do serialization, a manufacturer or a retailer wants to do warehouse management or even inventory management and so on. So using the GS1 standards like the barcodes, the Gen 2 RFIDs, the UPC and the rest, you can build solutions that assist either any of the stakeholders, either the manufacturer or the retailer or even the distributors. You can build solutions using these standards that would assist them in their businesses. Well, that's just the summary, but I would definitely like to have a better conversation with this person, Ayo Olabode, and you can just send us an email and we'll give you more information as to how you can participate as a service provider using GS1 standards. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much, Mr. David. That's actually Mr. David, ICT team lead at GS1 Nigeria here. So thank you very much, Mr. David, for providing response to that question. All right. So before I go back to the question I missed earlier when Mr. Obina was out of the call. So this is a question to Mr. John from Toby, and it says, Mr. John, can you help to get our products across all your outlets? So I don't know, Mr. John, can you kindly unmute your mic to answer that? Oh, okay. So I think Mr. John is outside the call now. But if he gets back before we end the meeting, we'll get that question back to him. All right. So I think we missed a question earlier when Mr. Obina was not here. Okay, so Mr. Obina, so this question is actually directed to you, and this person is asking if Jara Store deals with web products like fresh juice, salad, and cooked foods. So I don't know if you can please answer that, Mr. Obina.
Okay. Yes. Jara deals with wet foods, but however, part of the wet food is already sold. Someone manages that. While the aspect of food cooking, which we call the service food, is already managed. It's being managed by Jara on its own. So Jara prepares the food. You mentioned salad, you make salad and all of that, but the other aspect of the wet category is already being sourced out to a private personnel that manages it.
Thank you, Mr. Obina. So I have a question for you. I
Okay.
can see one of our members she stays in Benin, and I understand you have a branch there. So I'm just going to ask that, let's say she wants to, sell her products at the complex over there. Can she just go to the what's it called? Because can she just go to the branch over there, like the Jara store over there, to say I want to sell my products? Because I know you are in Lagos branch, or are you in charge of everything?
Well, whatever happens in the stores in other branches of Jara is still directed to the head office in Lagos, which is at Simbiat Abiola Way, Ikeja. So even if she goes there, she's going to be redirected to me. So that's why I need to do that via my mail. So she has to send me an email and then also attach the pictures of the products. That will also help. And then the price list, her price list as well, will be attached. Then also need to clarify if her product is vatable or not. So I think it's what she has to do. So going to the store is a normal thing, but they will still tell her, send a mail to Obina. That's the same scenario they will tell her.
All right. So thank you very much, Mr. Obina. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So there is actually another question here to the GS1 team from Mr. Festus Moses. How can barcoding reduce cost? Okay. So that's actually a very nice question. And I'll be directing that question to our membership executive, Mr. Ladi. So Mr. Ladi, can you kindly unmute yourself and help us out with that question?
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Ladi Gamu, representing the membership support team of GS1 Nigeria. looking at that question, how can barcoding reduce cost? Barcoding can actually not reduce cost, but it can actually, barcodes actually are unique identification keys enabling traceability from end to end. So if you are looking at it, reducing cost, that is sometimes like a warehouse pilfering what goes where, when, and how. You'll actually be able to track and trace your products from point to point, end to end. Thereby, we having accurate information of each product and where it is going at a particular point in time. So if you're looking at the overhead cost of things, sure. Hello.
Okay, hello, yes, we can hear you. Okay, let me take that question. Okay, my name is Sinat. I'm at the membership department. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry, the question, I'm trying to go through the question again. Okay, what is the question again, please?
How can barcoding reduce costs?
Okay, yes, the interpretation of that question, in as much as my understanding, meaning that probably the cost of our barcode. Currently, our barcode is 32,500 for 10 numbers. Yes, sir. Okay, so the person that has the question, can we know, is he a registered GS1 member or a prospective member? Is the person still on the call?
Hello.
Hello, so I'm going to go now. So Mr. Festus Moses, if I get your question very well, you said, can barcoding reduce cost? So barcoding your products does not automatically, mean that the cost is going to reduce. I mean, the product cost is, left to you as a manufacturer or as a producer. Then the, agreement between you and the retail outlet, that one does not have to do with, GS1. What GS1 barcode does, like we said earlier on, it's a unique identifier, and it makes this inventory process, it makes it easier for them to sell your products so that they won't have to imagine they are using price tag for everything. How will they, keep record of that? Those are some of the things that barcode makes easy. It does not reduce the cost of the products. I don't know if Mr. Festus is here and if I have answered his question. Mr. Festus, can we hear from you?
My truck is bad. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Moses, we can't hear you. I don't know, maybe it's your network. But okay, so I think what you can actually do. Hello, Mr. Moses, I don't know if you're there. Hello. Hello. All right. So to get further clarification on that, I think my colleagues already explained. to you. So barcoding your products does not automatically reduce the cost of your product. But if you meant that another way, you can actually send an email to us at enquiries@gs1ng.org, and you get further explanations and detailed explanations. So we have a membership support team that is readily available to answer your question at any time of the day. So thank you. All right. So we actually have
Sorry,
another question.
can I say something?
Yeah, please do. Please do. Thank you.
All right. So I don't know if Festus is still on the line, but this question of how can barcoding reduce costs? I don't think whatever amount you spend, getting a well-defined barcode from the right sources or from GS1, you're still going to benefit from it much later. So take for instance, you take your product without a barcode to a store, and the store agrees to assist you for the meantime, to help you do barcode because they want to sell the product at that particular point in time. That's just one store. And now cascade that to different stores or not chain stores that particular outlet has. Maybe it has like 10 or 15 stores, and you are being charged per item. If you run that calculation, then you will see that it pays well for you to just go get your barcode and you are done with it. It saves you a whole lot of time and stress, not even the monetary aspect. It takes you a whole lot because the process of you even going to get you go to a store, they help you get your barcode, you take the stick on, you now sticking on all the products. Man, that is really too much stress on you as well. So the best advice is whatever the cost you're thinking, just take it off. Think about the stress and what you intend to achieve, from supplying chains of stores. That's what you should look at. So I think this for me, I know you're trying to, understand the importance of you getting a barcode, but take out if it's going to reduce cost or not, but just look at what you stand to achieve once your product is well barcoded. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr.
Thank
Obina.
you. Yes, thank you, Mr. Obina. It's much appreciated for your contribution. So I think because that questions goes in different perspectives as per understanding. So I think with the little input that we all made, we have made an attempt to answer the question. So if there is any further interpretations to what Mr. Festus is expecting, you should kindly send us an email. Thank you. So we can move on to the next question.
So thank you very much, everybody, and we appreciate everybody that has contributed so far. All right, so moving on to the next question. This person is asking a very important question, Miss Aminat Oladipo, and the question goes thus: what makes a product taxable or otherwise, please? All right, so that is not something I know much about myself. Well, I would like to pass the question to any of my colleagues that can answer that. So, does anybody want to take it?
Okay. Your question, you are asking for taxable and non-taxable products, right? So that is another different section entirely. It's a transaction cost. So we can move on to the next question, please. So that we will be in another class.
Sorry, regarding taxable item and non-taxable items, the suppliers should have access to that, especially when they go to tax office, they go to FIRS to make inquiries and stuff like that. So they are briefed of items that are taxable and items that are not taxable. So it helps them know that for such items, they are not remitting tax to FIRS, or if they should remit tax to FIRS. So for instance, water is not taxable. So anyone selling water, anyone producing water does not pay tax to FIRS. So the other products, your Indomie, for instance, is taxable. So those persons selling Indomie or producing Indomie, they will eventually remit tax to FIRS. So that's what he or she needs to understand. FIRS will actually give them what they need in terms of, or the tax companies or thereabout will give them whatever information they need about taxable and non-taxable products. Thank you.
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Obina. You've really been helpful. And I must say, I just learned something myself too. All right, so I want to say thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so I think right now, those are the only questions we have. Okay. Okay, so another person just asked the question now. I think Mr. John or Mr. Obina can just take this. So the person is asking, will the product sample dropped be returned to us? So Mr. John, can you please take that question, please? Or Mr. Obina? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, so Mr. Obina, someone just asked if the product sample they drop will be returned to them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. So
Well,
sorry, did you say yes?
it depends. It depends. It works in different ways. Everyone is different. The way I, address samples actually different from other stores. So, and also depends on the where you work per se. To be honest, samples are meant to be dropped and not returned. Why? Because the fact that you go and present your product does not mean that it will be accepted immediately. Why? For reasons being that at that particular time, there is no space to get your product listed. So the best bet is you drop your samples and then you leave it. So when there is need for that product to be listed, I can go to wherever I kept it and check, okay, I still have this product. I still have the details. Let me list these items and send. But on the other hand, I actually advise suppliers, if you feel it's good for you to leave the samples behind, it's fine. But if you know it's not good enough for you, you can go with the samples. I don't actually force suppliers to drop their samples. So because I have some items I still have here. I've not listed them, not because I don't want to, but because there is no room yet for those items to be listed. So for anyone who does not have that patience, I tell them you can go with your samples. But if you feel keeping your samples will not be a problem for you much later, then you can drop them. So it all depends on whoever is managing the category.
Oh, okay. So thank you very much for that, Mr. Obina. So I believe whoever asked that question got the answer they were expecting. All right. So okay. So there are some comments here. Please, kindly give us your email contact. So, all right. So concerning that, please to Ms. Aminat Oladipo. All right. We would like you to send us an email to enquiries@gs1ng.org so that we can actually connect to the presenters for you. All right. So thank you very much. Then what is your presenter? Okay, so Toby is asking, sorry, please, I missed out. Okay, how long does it take for a product to be listed? That's to Mr. Obina. So how long does it take for a product to be listed on Jara stores? Then I think before that, what is your payment terms? Jessica, I'll call you from Trifood. Okay, so I think that particular question is one of the participants. But how long does it takes for product to be listed on Jara stores? So Mr. Obina.
It depends. I would say it depends. Reason is because if it's a product that is needed urgently, it takes 48 to 72 hours. You know, if it's needed urgently, 48 to 72 hours, having all the required documents, meeting up with all the requirements. So it takes 48 to 72 hours to get the product have been agreed on. So that's how long it takes. So regarding the payment terms varies. So which I believe that is discussed between me and my suppliers on table. So
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Obina. All right.
You're
So
welcome.
for whoever asked that question, I believe when you connect to GS1 to connect to our invited guests, that are retailers, will be able to
Yes.
get the required answers for the right questions. So thank you very much. Okay, so someone is saying,
You're
sorry,
welcome.
please, I missed out from the email address requested from Mr. Obina and Mr. John. All right, so for that again, to Mr. Toby, we already said, kindly send us an email with your company details to enquiries@gs1ng.org. So we'll type the email in the chat box. Thank you very much. All right, so do you have African market corner? Okay, so I think this is another question that I would like Mr. Obina to answer. So it says, do you have African market corner for products that the expecting NAFDAC number to be out? Okay, so this person is asking if there is a corner for products that are still expecting their NAFDAC numbers. All right, so that's to Mr. Obina. Can you please answer that? Then I think further questions or further inquiries should be sent to our email at enquiries@gs1ng.org. It has been typed in the chat box. So you can also chat with us on WhatsApp, as we've said earlier. But I would like Mr. Obina to kindly answer this last question that we're taking. So Mr. Obina, can you please answer the last question?
To be honest, we don't have a corner for such because every day people come with various products and with NAFDAC numbers. So the earlier you get your NAFDAC numbers, the better for everyone. So we don't have that such room. Like I said, if such item is in high demand, that is only when I can say, okay, how soon can your NAFDAC number be ready? How long is it going to take? So if it's convenient for me to wait, then I can wait. But if it's not convenient, then I have to, source for the product elsewhere.
Okay, so thank you very much once again, Mr. Obina. We really appreciate you. All right, so quickly before I hand over, I'd like to reiterate that if you still have any question, you can send it to us on enquiries@gs1ng.org. And our WhatsApp number has also been posted on the chat box. And also, I would like to post a feedback form. Okay, I think I just did that. So we would like everyone to kindly go through the link to provide honest feedback to help us improve on our training. So I'll be handing over to Mr. Julius Adidoyin. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tayo. Okay, we want to use this opportunity to thank everyone for coming out of your busy schedule. I want to thank Mr. Obina and Mr. John for taking out time to give out this presentation and to also answer all these questions. So definitely this is going to be in series. This is the first of its kind, and definitely we'll come up with other series too. So we'll keep you in view, all attendees. So thank you very much again for attending. Really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And also the link to the feedback has been sent to the chat box. Please kindly endeavor to click on that link and just attempt those questions there. Thank you very much. We will appreciate your feedback. All right. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so you can still copy the link. The link is there. Just copy it before you exit Zoom. Okay, I'll paste it again. Copy.
So,
Okay, that's the link. You can always click on the link.
Sorry, I can't see the link. Oh, which link are you talking about? I can't see any link.
Okay, I just shared the link now. It's just a
Yeah.
feedback link. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. I'm seeing Jara Stores, the
It's
guy
in the
that
chat
did it.
box. It's in the
Oh,
chat
okay.
box.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Please just confirm you've seen it.
Hold on, let me go to the
No
chat. I'm
problem.
just starting today. Okay, I've seen it. Thank you.
Very good. You're welcome. So we'll be waiting for like 8 minutes so people can access the link before we close the meeting. So the meeting will be shut down by 12 noon.
I'm going to send the material or the video for people that joined late. You didn't answer the question.
Okay, so the recording will be sent to everyone. The recording of this meeting will be sent to you. Did you get that, ma?
Yeah, and the material.
Thank you.